Alrighty, guys. Hey there, this is Mongo. I just want to share a few thoughts with you guys about a particular movie that I have with me. Picked this movie up the other day, and this movie I had a lot of nostalgia for, and it was for a character that me personally I really enjoyed. And that character is the Hulk, and that movie is The Incredible Hulk. Ooh, that's a bit of a shine right there. We'll just change the hue of this whole thing. Anyhow, so I got this movie off eBay for about $5. Now, this is the 3-disc special edition of The Incredible Hulk. And, it's basically, one of the disc is a digital copy of the film. Yeah, if you like the film, then yeah, go for it. Disc 2 is just some behind the scenes stuff, the making of the Hulk and becoming the Abomination, from comic book to screen, the anatomy of a Hulk out, and an all new alternate opening. Um, so I watched the alternate opening, and it's not bad. And I kind of liked it. It would have been cool if it made maybe a little more sense, I guess. If Well, I can understand why they cut it out and put a different kind of opening in there. I would definitely recommend looking it up because it's probably out there. Just look for the Incredible Hulk alternate opening. But then you have disc one that has the movie and deleted scenes and a feature commentary by Tim Roth and I believe either a director um, or a writer. I think one of those. It's just two of them. I did not listen to the commentary. Instead, I watched the movie. Now, before rewatching this movie, I had always thought to myself, I don't know about Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. He does cool stuff, but Mark Ruffalo's kind of meh. He's not that cute. But then I watched this movie, and I'm actually a lot more satisfied with the direction that the MCU has taken the Hulk. Um, Granted, I would like a little bit more here and there. I'd like some other stuff to happen with him, but I'm a lot more satisfied after rewatching this movie. Now I say that because there are a few issues that I have with this movie. Um, Ed Norton, I like the actor. He's a bit of a son of a gun to work with, from what I've heard. But other than that, I like him in his roles. But a lot of his lines in this movie, they kind of seem a little bland. He kind of seems like a bit of a dweeb, but I can understand why, because the character in this movie, he's Bruce Banner, and he can't get angry, he can't get too excited, or he's gonna Hulk out, and he's pretty much a prisoner to the Hulk throughout this whole movie, and that kind of stinks. It kind of is a bit different. Is the MCU, you have even though Mark Ruffalo doesn't have his own movie to himself, his journey throughout multiple movies as the Hulk has been pretty interesting and engaging. In the first Avengers movie, he's basically the same person as the beginning of the Incredible Hulk. He's afraid of turning into the Hulk, and he's a prisoner to the Hulk, kind of. Until the end, he's like, I'm always angry. I'm always angry. That's how he says it. Not that first one, but and he has that cool scene. Where he punches the Leviathan, giant space whale, in one hit. And all that. Age of Ultron, he develops a relationship with Natasha Romanoff. The Black Widow, and he starts to kind of acknowledge, like, how can he, he kind of comes to terms with how he can try to have a regular life with the Hulk, kind of just standing over him all the time. Then there's that. Then he disappears at the end of Age of Ultron. Thor Ragnarok comes around, and the Hulk is in charge. You got that whole kind of interesting interaction between Hulk and Thor, and then Thor and Bruce Banner. You have this interesting kind of thing where Banner, he embraces the Hulk again, even though he's afraid, even more afraid than he has ever been in previous movies in the MCU. Um, and he embraces it, and he's the Hulk. And then Infinity War comes along, and spoilers for Infinity War and Endgame. You guys have probably seen it, but yeah, sorry if I spoiled anything else for you guys. But anyhow, Infinity War rolls along. We got Bruce Banner. He fight. We have the Hulk. He fights. Tries to fight Thanos. He gets his butt handed to him. Like, I love that scene too. Just the quick punches and jabs. Hulk's pretty much just a tough dude, big strong guy, and Thanos, he's just surgical. He's punching him. I'm pretty sure he like breaks his nose on like the first or second hit. That he gives to the Hulk, and that was pretty cool. Then pretty much it's Bruce Banner for the rest of the movie, and he's trying to get the Hulk to work with him again. Hulk is not having any of it for whatever reason, whether it's fear or something else, some other kind of emotion. But it's Banner by himself, and Banner learns that he is more than just the body for the Hulk. He is more than just a smart dude too. He can be viable in a fight. He was in a Hulkbuster, and he held his own against Cull Obsidian, and he was able to kill Cull Obsidian, which is pretty dang cool to watch. Then Endgame rolls around. Beginning of the movie picks up right where Infinity War left off, where it's just Bruce Banner. He gets a cheeky hit on Thanos at the beginning of the movie, and then after that, the 5-year time skip happens, and then we have Banner and the Hulk together as Smart Hulk, or Professor Green. But that was interesting. Banner's pretty much embraced the Hulk, and they are the same person. Their personalities are together, or it might just be that Banner's personality is in charge, and he's just pushed Hulk to the back of his mind, and he's just controlling his body, a la Get Out. you know, Thankfully, you don't have to do no surgery for that. But well, I guess what I'm getting at is it's been an interesting story for the Hulk so far in the MCU, and with the Incredible Hulk, Ed Norton is pretty much a fraction of that. So it's kind of hard for me to really compare Ed Norton to Mark Ruffalo. I don't know how much the total minutes go, but I think Mark Ruffalo is like 2 or 3 times more screen time than Ed Norton. But anyhow, some of my other issues with this movie, The Incredible Hulk, is Liv Tyler. Now, the actress herself is not bad. Liv Tyler is cool. When I was first watching this movie, I was having a hell of a time trying to remember her name. I kept wanting to say Liz Tyler or Liv Taylor, just mixing up the little bits and pieces of letters there. But, she's a cool actress. I like her. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Goes without saying. Anyhow, she is Bruce Banner's love interest in this movie. Uh, Betty Ross? Betty Ross. If it's Betsy Ross, I don't think it is, but Betty Ross. And Betty Ross is a scientist, but she doesn't really come across as very smart in this movie. She keeps talking with kind of like an airy voice. Like, Bruce, what's wrong, Bruce? Oh, don't worry, Bruce. Here, tuck in your shirt. You look better like that, Bruce. Yeah, it really kind of had me rolling my eyes and just thinking, oh, she is like this the whole movie pretty much. And I guess in the context of the movie, it makes sense. She doesn't know anything about the Hulk really up until she meets up with Bruce Banner again in this movie. So, I'll give it to the movie for that. Anyhow, effects wise, oh wait, before I get into the effects, uh, the two other main characters, you have Tim Roth and William Hurt. I'll start with William Hurt first. I like him. He's a good actor. He does a good military dude. You know, um, he's a good General Ross. And honestly, I think it's a shame that he hasn't gotten to interact with Bruce Banner that much in the MCU because he's in Avengers: Civil War and then he's in Avengers: Infinity War. So he's only in like two movies, and like I think it's a real shame that he doesn't interact with Bruce Banner. But he can't really interact with Bruce Banner in Civil War since Bruce Banner is not on Earth in Civil War's time, in the Civil War movie. And there wasn't really much time to really do that in Infinity War because, well, it's Infinity War. There's all these characters and we have all these different plot lines and coming around and going towards this one like climax. So I guess you can't really do that either. Not enough time for it. It would be cool if one day we get that interaction, maybe in an Avengers movie if they do another one of those. And if the Hulk is featured prominently in another movie, hopefully, I think it'd be pretty cool if there was a little interaction between him and Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, Thaddeus E. Ross, General Ross. I would like that a lot. Even if it was just a little throwaway line like he asks, "How's Betty?" And if he asks, "How's Betty?" as the giant green Professor Hulk to to William Hurt's character, General Ross, that would be pretty funny to see the look on his face. Uh, I think that'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be kind of funny, if you want to have a little joke about that. So anyhow, I liked William Hurt. He's pretty much what you'd want and expect from General Ross. And the last character that is featured prominently in this movie, last main actor, is Tim Roth. And he is Emil Blonsky. Emil Blonsky. And, he was interesting. He was fine. He was cool. I enjoyed him. He was basically just a military dude who saw the Hulk and he wanted to become the Hulk. And he became, uh, arguably, well, either an inferior Hulk or a superior Hulk. I guess by the end of the movie, we know he is inferior. But he becomes a big old monster dude, abomination. Looks kind of weird and kind of freaky. Like, ugh. And I think he's cool. I liked a lot of the stuff that they did with his character. You know, they gave him a bit of the, not like the original super soldier serum, but some of like Captain America's blood or something like that. They gave him an extract of the super soldier serum, and it did not really, in it, well, it adversely affects his body. It red skulls him, you know. Well, that might be incorrect. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe the Red Skull also took a super soldier serum, possibly an inferior super soldier serum, but he also got screwed up. You know, he wasn't as hardcore as Emil Blonsky, but you know, whatever. So Emil Blonsky, he's good. Really, I think take away from this part about the actors. Liv Tyler was wasted in this movie. She could have been given some more substance, and she could have been made into more of a character than just a airy damsel in distress kind of thing. You know, she does a little bits and pieces, little bit. She kind of helps, but really, yeah, I think she was wasted. Anyhow, so the effects. Now, for the most part, the effects in this movie were really good, really on point. There might have been one or two parts with the Hulk and Abomination where the visual effects kind of showed their age. Mostly um, when the Hulk is at the university, one or two of those scenes, they just did not really mesh and look good to me, at least. Where it's the Hulk running in the sunlight, in the daylight. Kind of meh. And it's probably a good thing that Abomination was all at night. Because he probably would have looked really noticeable if it was in the daytime. He would have looked a lot worse if it was the daytime, I think. But no, I mean, other than that, other than those kind of things, because those are pretty much the only two things in this movie that are actually made with computer generated technology, I guess. Those are the two headliners, pretty much, of the movie. They're on the box. The two box people, the two cover people. You know, they. I don't know if this picture of the Hulk really captures the appearance that we saw on screen. Well, that's close enough. I mean, I liked a lot of the movie. I thought the amount of supplies they had. You know, I loved seeing the Humvees in the movie. You know, you had some cool little scenes. You know, there was good Hulk action in this. You know, you have the initial little scuffle in South America as the Hulk, and then you have the university scene with the Hulk. That's my favorite part. Just a lot of cool stuff. And then you have the final fight with Abomination, which it's so right. You know, it's kind of that typical kind of thing. You know, the good guy gets, you know, the good guy, the hero meets a villain of similar origin who is initially a better version of him. You know, the villain beats the crud out of the hero for a while. Then the hero figures out whether through ingenuity or through his own self worth that he is better than the villain, and then he beats the crud out of the villain and wins the day. It's that kind of a formula. You see it a lot in the MCU, especially with some of these earlier movies. Yeah, yeah, you could make a case for some of the later movies too. Actually, actually, yeah, you could really interject that thought into Black Panther, even Thor Ragnarok, because Hela is a superior Thor, pretty much, at the beginning of the movie. And same with Black Panther, of course, yeah. You had Killmonger, who is, once he takes he's basically the same as Black Panther, except he's a little more ruthless. He has more military training. Anyhow, I guess what I'm saying is, uh, the movie is interesting. The plot is pretty standard, I guess. Bruce Banner, he's the Hulk. He doesn't want to be the Hulk or turn into the Hulk, so he wants to be cured, which leads him back to Betty Ross, who loves him and he loves her, but being the Hulk is inconvenient to having a love life, so he wants to cure it extra fast now, so that he can have some smoochy time with good old Liv Tyler. Anyhow, you, if I had anything to say about this movie, towards the end of this little video here, and it's not very little anymore, it's like 20 minutes long. Well, you know, whatever. I'm Mongo. These are my big thinks. And it's a bit of a big video for that, too. So, in closing, I just want to say, personally, I still like this movie. I still like The Incredible Hulk. Is it a good movie? Meh. It's debatable. It's debatable. Is it easy to critique? Yes. Um, is it easy to hate? Well, for me, no. I still like the movie. It's got a lot of action in it. I like a lot of the interactions. You get to see some cool actors. I got to see the actor from Spartacus season 1 and 2. 1 and 2, I got to see that actor. He was Doctore. He was the Doctore in that series. I liked seeing him pop up as a military guy. Only for one scene, but I really like him. I really like that actor too. If you're blanking on the person, he was also in 300. He was the messenger, the initial messenger from Persia, and he got kicked into the hole by Leonidas. And anyhow, I like a lot of the little things here and there that are in this movie. A lot of mentions of Shield, and then of course in the end of the movie, you get to see William Hurt meeting Tony Stark, Tony Stank himself. You know. And you get a lot of stuff, and came out the same year as Iron Man. Personally, I think I'm gonna have to rewatch Iron Man because I think from that year, Iron Man was a much more successful movie, and to this day, Iron Man is talked about a lot more positively than the Incredible Hulk. So I'm gonna search up a copy of Iron Man, maybe try and find it on Netflix or Amazon or something, and I will make another review for you guys. So I'm Mongo. These have been my big thinks, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.